me about the DNA. And I really couldn't get it. You know, there's 12 strands of DNA in the original human creation, as we originally created to be. In the third dimension, there's only 2 strands and like another third strand. It's waffling off into nowhere. However, we were originally created to be much more wired up, much more spiritually aware and attuned and powerful spiritually than we appear to be now as human beings. And so they were explaining to me about the DNA, and they were showing me a wheel with 12 spokes on a wheel. And I didn't understand what they were talking about, because remember, this is 8 years ago. And I said, I don't understand. And they said, we'll show you, we'll show you. So I said, okay. They said, shut your eyes. So I shut my eyes, and there was a blast of energy that came through my crown chakra, and everything went white, like I went swirly and white. Everything went white in front of my eyes. And I saw a vision in my inner sight of a woman. I think it was myself in a past life. And this woman was saying, they're coming soon. We have to hide the scripts. They're coming soon. And then I started saying, my name is Astiara. My name is Astiara, priestess of On. My name is Astiara. They're coming soon. Didn't really know who was coming. So later that day, I walked down the street in Ubud, and I saw a painting on the veranda of the painter's shop, the artist's shop, of Agung the artist, who I got friendly with, you see, and I used to stop on my walks and I talked to Agung. It was a huge painting of a woman dressed in white. And it looked just like I'd seen in my inner sight. And I stood mesmerised in front of this painting. And Agung came out and said, oh, Judy, I've painted her for you. I've painted her for you. It's like Spirit, and then Spirit told me I had to have the painting. So I said, yes, I'll have the painting. I need to buy this painting. He said, many people have wanted to buy this painting, but I saved it for you. Okay? Just painted it. So I said, right, I'll take the painting. And about 2 weeks later, I was due to go home to New Zealand. So that day, I went to pick up the painting. And by this stage, I'd really decided that I was really going a bit crazy after being on my own for 6 weeks. And I was dreaming up all this stuff, and it was total idiocy. So I'd already decided I was going to take home a very cute little painting of Balinese dancers instead. You know. So I said to Agung, look, I think I really want these Balinese dancers. Not that huge painting that was that high, that I had no idea where I was going to put it in my living room, you see. So Agung said, oh, no, Judy, you have to have that painting. I said, no, I'm going to have the Balinese dancers instead. So I walked out on the veranda, and as I walked out on the veranda like this blast of energy went, and a voice said, you are to have the painting. So I went in and I said, oh, by the way, would you mind unwrapping the Balinese dancers and wrap up Astiara? I've just been told I have to have it. And I took this painting, and I've still got it. I've now got it in Maryland, actually. But I took this painting of Astiara, who, very beautiful painting. And she didn't look Balinese, she actually looked Polynesian. You see? Later, and I'll skip through the story a little bit, but later, I stopped in Brisbane on the way home. And I was taken to see 10 paintings painted by somebody in Brisbane, in the hinterland of Brisbane. And they were the 10 planets in our solar system. And the last painting, the woman who painted it, a woman called Debbie, had wrapped up in a blanket and she put it in her office. Because when anybody saw it, it would flip them back into past life, you see. And so it was she was a little bit nervous about showing it to anybody. However, she let me sit down in front of this painting, and I sat there in meditation. And as I sat there, the same thing happened. Out of my mouth came, my name is Astiara, and then we have to hide the scripts. And the reason I'm telling you all this, and I'm digressing, is that when I got back home, I was asked by Spirit to teach the first DNA recoding workshop there. And we were all gathered together, there were 12 of us. And on the second day of teaching this workshop, and it was a place near Pauanui, which is on the east coast, by the beach. On the second day, when everybody was gathered, someone blew a conch shell. There was a conch shell sitting on the mantelpiece. And at the sound of that conch shell, everybody present regressed into a past life that we'd all had together. When Astiara, the priestess, had gone from Egypt, from Heliopolis, to New Zealand, which was in those days an outpost of Lemuria, you see, place of high light, to hold the light. And no, actually it was to close down the light, to hold the light, but then to close down the light. Because it was the time of the fall when the light, the energy connections to the stars were being closed down. And so everybody remembered this, and to cut a long story short, everybody who had been in that temple at the time was slaughtered by the corrupted ones, and Astiara left her body and ascended into light, basically. And so this story is my story, but we, all of us, all of you, have your own stories from past life, you see, that you may remember or you may not remember. But the simple fact of the matter is, now is the time to reconnect to who we are and the knowledge that we have, and the energy that was coming through this morning was to help us all reconnect. The energy now that is going to be brought through from Mary Magdalene is to help us work with tenacity and purpose, and to reconnect to the sacred knowledge that we have within our DNA. You see, our soul DNA and our lineage line DNA, both. We have this within us. And it's like, through all of this time, since the fall, these gateways of light or pathways into our knowledge have been blocked off from us. And now they're being opened. And these energy words that are going to be spoken are like opening a doorway, opening doorways. They're coding, there's specific codes that have the capacity to unlock the bonds that are holding us in this particular way of thinking, consciousness, vibratory state, or physical way of being. So let's do this now with the next piece of music, which we'll put on Mane Pame. And the music we're going to play here is O Mane Pame Hum, the jewel in the lotus. The jewel in the lotus. Thank you. And we're working with the Magdalene energy. The rose. She was known as the rose. So was Mary. She was in the Middle Ages, Maria della Rosa, as was Jesus. So they are representing the rose line. Thank you. Just put your hands palm up for this. Just be like a sponge and let the energy absorb through the cells of your body. Reviled through many, many centuries as being a prostitute. And yet she was, as Jesus, partner of Jesus, the other half of Jesus Christ. She was responsible for carrying the book of love and the teachings of Jesus and making sure that they continue to thrive and flourish throughout the world. Kujila sada jana mala kujila song in stela kujila na mala kia. Kala sa kujila kola kujinia. Kujila sa kujila kada bada kujila na mala kia. Kala kada bada kujila mala kala kada kujila sadia. Kala sa jina na mala kunya. So she speaks to us of courage, following the heart. She speaks to us of tenacity, of purpose, of keeping on, keeping on. The importance of keeping on, keeping on, keeping going. The importance of determination. Once we set our mind to something, achieving it, and not letting any person or any inner voice keep us from this purpose. She speaks to us of love. The teachings of the Christ were and still are of love. Love is the key in the way. Love is certainly the love vibration, is certainly the gateway to the fifth dimension, because love calibrates at 500 hertz, which is really fifth dimension. And if we deliberately create these higher frequency energies of love, of joy, of peace, of oneness, of serenity, of strength, of wisdom within ourselves, just by thinking and feeling these energies and saying, I am love. And the second time feeling it, I am love, feel it. The third time, I am love, and knowing it and being it, and doing this every day because it's a discipline, then we will immeasurably change our own energy, what we're putting out, and immeasurably change what we're pulling into our reality as a result. It's that simple, really. And all the tools that I and everybody else put out are there to help us on this journey. But it's up to us to actually walk the path. Nobody else, unfortunately, can do it for us. I've often wished that they could, but they can't. We've got to do it. So each individual is really alone on this path, and yet together, because there are so many beautiful beings of light who are there to support us and surround us with their love and their guidance, if only we reach out to them. And we reach out to them with our mind by putting our